Hey everyone, it's Dwayne here. Welcome to another episode of Snapshots from the Summit. 5 minutes of amazing goodness that will give you the code to cracking open the money vault, flip the bird at the 9 to 5, and finally escape the cage that's been keeping you imprisoned. Okay, we are on episode 2, my friends. Episode 2 of the goal-setting system that actually works. The goal-setting system that actually works. The reality is this: you've been totally duped all these years. You've been fooled about what really works, and that's why the code has never cracked open the money vault. That's why you've never been able to flip the bird at the 9 to 5, and that's why you've never been able to escape the cage that's been keeping you imprisoned, my friends. Okay, episode 1, we've got that in the can. Episode 2 is this. Okay, we're going to analyze. You're going to get your A4 pad out, you're going to get your timer, you're going to get your pen, and we're going to time this exercise. You are going to write down everything that you can think of that worked in the previous year, right? The previous year, or the previous 90 days, or the previous week. Remember, we work on time frames, whatever your time frame is. Here, we work on a time frame of 90 days, right? So we work through a cycle of 90 days. We break those segments down into 30-day cycles that ultimately increase the momentum as we move through each 30-day cycle. And then we have a planned reward/rest at the end of the 90-day cycle, and then away we go again, right? So we're never letting things get away from us too far. Okay, so whatever your time frame is, some of you might just be working on the year, right? So as we move into a new year and a new decade, that will be what you're working on. The things that works, right? What are the things that worked? Okay, so write all those things down. Get the timer down for 10 minutes, 20 minutes. As the ideas keep flowing, just keep writing, right? You write everything down that worked across whatever it is that you're focusing on, be that health, wealth, or relationships, or all of the above. Great idea to write down what worked in relationships, what worked in health, what worked in your wealth creation. Now that you've got all these things down on the bit of paper, you've got everything that worked, I want you to take those things forward, right? You're going to carry those things forward, but you're going to into the new year, the new decade, whatever it is, right? We're going to get rid of the things that didn't, which we covered in the first of these, the goal-setting system that actually works. We covered all those things. We threw away what didn't work. We mined the gems, and we're carrying those forward. And at the end of this exercise, we're also going to carry forward everything that actually worked. We're going to take that with us, right? You know, most people take everything that didn't work with them, and they forget to do the things that actually did work. So we're going to take everything forward that worked across the board, be that health, wealth, and relationships. The other thing you're going to ask yourself is, as you've got now sitting in front of you everything that worked for you across the board, health, wealth, and relationships, the question you want to ask yourself is, how can you supercharge those things? How can you make them even more powerful? How can you make them work even better? How can you leverage them, all right? How can you leverage the things that worked? How can you make them more potent, for want of a better word, right? How can you supercharge those things that worked? Right, so get the thinking cap on. All the things you've listed down on that A4 sheet of paper, how can you supercharge them? How can you make them more powerful? How can you make them more potent, right? The last thing I want you to do in this exercise is, you now got a sheet of paper in front of you of all the things that worked for you in the previous time frame, be that year, 90 days, week, day, whatever it might be. Okay, give yourself a pat on the back, right? Shit went well, right? As far as you've got proof there. You've got undeniable proof sitting in front of you right now that you did some things that went really well, right? No matter whether your list is 1 or whether it's 100 or more, right? Give yourself a pat on the back. Congratulate yourself on doing some things well, right? So let's just reiterate. In this exercise, we are going to list out all the things that went well, right? Across the board, health, wealth, or relationships, whatever it is you're focusing on for this particular exercise. If you're doing all three, or whether you're doing one area, whatever it might be, list them all out. Then the question you want to ask yourself next is, how can I make these more potent? How can I supercharge them? How can I make them more powerful? How can I make them more impacting on my life, right? Because these are good things. These are things that worked, right? So how can you make them have more impact, right? And then don't forget to pat yourself on the back. You did some things amazingly well in the previous time frame. Give yourself a little bit of congratulations, okay? Reinforce those things that you did super well. Okay, that's it, my friends. That's it. This is Dwayne signing off for the team here at Snap at Conquer Your Everest. Right, this has been an episode of Snapshots from the Summit. If you need some help in cracking open that money vault, flipping the bird at the man in the 9 to 5, and ultimately escaping the cage that's got you in prison, reach on out. Above or below this episode, you'll find 3 ways you can get hold of us, and let's see whether we can accelerate your progress to unlocking the money vault and ultimately escaping the cage that's keeping you in prison. Dwayne signing off. I'll speak to you again on the next episode of Snapshots from the Summit. Bye for now.